I'm Sean and he's Brad, and we are confused and informed.
Welcome, welcome.
Thanks for joining in, guys. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. But first, let's take care of some business. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at Gmail. No, that's the end part of the email. So the show's going to go, people. Stay with us.
That's why we should smoke the weed to relax, but we shouldn't smoke it to do the show. It's like what do you call that when it works for and against you?
Yeah, we're contradicting
our brains. Okay, let's get serious now. Right. People want to know some facts.
Facts. Okay.
Let's get some facts. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Hey, I'm Sean. He's Brad, and we are confused and informed. We got a great episode planned for you guys today. But first, let's take care of just a little bit of business, just so you guys can get a hold of us. It's confusedandinformed@gmail.com if you want to send us an email. All the social medias, it's going to be the same handle. It's going to be Confused and Informed. It'll be Confused and Informed on iTunes, and especially on YouTube, it'll be Confused and Informed. And please like, share, and follow all of these platforms, and comment if you can, because it does help us out.
I was just going to say, give us your feedback, and also if you guys want to talk about different topics, or you have questions on topics we covered, or want to hear more about those topics, let us know. And also, if you're interested in being a guest.
Yeah, if you got something cool.
Well, this actually isn't a living room. This is a level 5 command center here. That's what.
Mine's my living room. Oh, the magic of show business.
Okay, so anyway, if you want to be a guest on the show, we're looking to talk to people for sure. So
just send us an email at confusedandinformed@gmail.com.
Or
sorry?
I was just going to say any topics they want discussed, we're down.
Yeah, make sure to throw that in the subject matter, right? So just don't throw us just a random email if you want to talk about something. I love Bigfoot, so if you want to send a story over about Bigfoot, we want to hear it.
Or if you have a lead, if you're a detective.
Absolutely, anything.
If you're an internet detective, hey, by the way, have you seen that show on Netflix called Don't Fuck with Cats? Did you watch it?
I never saw it. I never looked at it. I never watched it, but it's about that the Canadian serial killer, right?
Yeah. It's crazy, man. And these, I don't like watching stuff like that, but it really drew me in. These people on Facebook saw that this creepy dude do some really disgusting stuff to animals, and they went crazy, and they searched them all out, and these big groups formed, and it was it's crazy. It's crazy.
I just watched the Tiger King. What a weird.
I couldn't even finish that, man.
Oh, I had to, but there was one funny part that I saw was it was like episode 3, and they're talking about about Don, the guy that got murdered, the lady's husband. That
I didn't even get that far.
Oh, okay, anyways, it's this dude that gets murdered, and then the whole speculation was that the woman killed her husband and blah blah blah. But they have this guy in there.
Killed her husband, or the Tiger King guy killed the dude?
No, there was three groups of people that all had these zoos, and the one lady had a zoo. She had a zoo herself, and her husband just went missing one day, and then the whole conspiracy be that she fed him to the tigers and all that kind of stuff. But the funny thing of this was they're trying to be really serious, and then they have this one guy that they keep interviewing, and he's the handyman, and he's sitting there and he keeps saying under his title, the handyman. And then you see in the background his fence is falling down in the background. I was like, that's one shitty handyman. And I was like, who is the set director on that show? Because they should be fired.
Well, that guy just looks like a younger version of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I know, and it's business. Back to business. Brad also is a Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency. He's not so much Bitcoin, but that's the misconception. Most people, they always just refer to cryptocurrency as Bitcoin, but it's actually cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin is a coin or a token.
It's the first one ever created with
the blockchain. Yeah. We'll get into all of that when you later down the episode.
We'll have different episodes, right? And we'll do some different cryptocurrency episodes to get people filled in on what's going on. I was even thinking that we could do an online where we show people through screen share how to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody is interested in that, send us an email so we know to do that for sure. And then you can actually get an invite so you can join in when we're going live.
I'm also gonna I have a website set up. I think that's what you were gonna get to.
Yes. So his website is cryptolearn.ca. And to shoot him an email, what have you, join it, check it out.
It's not like I'm almost up and running, probably within the next couple of weeks here, but I'm just going to give people education, not financial advice.
Yeah, just education. That's what we're all. Everything we're all is just opinion, and we're not. We're subject to change, or what's the legal term?
Basically, don't listen to anything we say or
We're
take.
just here to entertain you people. That's all.
Don't take anything we say seriously.
Don't take this red curtain serious.
Come
It
on.
is just a prop.
Yeah.
And last.
Hold on, let's make a disclaimer. We absolutely do not know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
No
I concur.
matter.
I concur. Yeah. Hear, hear. And last but not least, we'll get started with this show. I am a tattoo artist, and if you want to check out my tattoo work, my artwork, anything like that, go to my Instagram at Tattoos by Toma, and you'll find my stuff. Like me, share me, comment, DM me, everything, all that stuff. All right, so let's get started, Brad. We're going to talk about COVID-19 today. What are we going to be talking about?
Oof, we got a lot to talk about, right? So I think, geez, I don't know, bro. Where do you want to start?
Well, basically, that's where it started, how it started, why we think it started. Was it man-made? Was it contracted by somebody eating a bat? I don't think that's true. That's kind of seems like the same where they said some guy went and screwed a monkey and then got AIDS, and then we all have AIDS. It just seems like a far stretch that somebody bit a bat and then contracted it.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk about, like, it started in Wuhan, but was that to shut down the protests in Hong Kong? Like, is this a conspiracy? That's another thing we're going to get into. How's this going to affect our economy? Is it going to change our banking system? Basically, like, the whole spectrum of what COVID-19 is and could be potentially
What kind of world control agenda?
Yeah, what's going to happen?
At the end of the day, if we skip all the who's, what's, where's, how, at the end of the day, is this like a complete control agenda on our freedoms and rights?
Yeah.
That's ultimately what I think.
So let's just get started. So
okay, well,
where it started in Wuhan.
Yeah, why don't we go question by question and and kind of go over each topic. So you're saying the first question is did it start in Wuhan or why?
Well, it did start in Wuhan.
Okay.
But
as the story goes, it was a bat in one of those animal markets. So,
okay.
So if you don't know China and a lot of Southeast Asia, they have these markets where they sell wild animals, dogs, cats, everything, and it's very grotesque conditions, and it's very disturbing for a Western person to see. It's really disturbing. They're called wet markets.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. So.
Yeah. So a lot of people get mad, and they're like, apparently the story goes that this came from a bat, which is something that people eat in these wet markets all the time. And before we even go any further, just to understand why these things are in operation is these are third world countries, and these people just don't have access to any types of food, or they don't have knowledge to food, or how to grow food or do anything like that. That they live in very poor countries, and for generations they've been living a certain way. So before we get into
this is kind of normal, right? Like, it's not really
it's messed up for us and really gross and wrong, but for these people that's how they grew up in their life believing. So for them, and that's how they survive. And you think about it. I watched this show called Naked and Afraid, and what's the other one? Alone. Have you ever watched that one?
Yeah, I've watched them both.
Yeah. So these shows talk about people, living in the wild and eating everything, and when you become starving, you'd be surprised at what you would be willing to eat to survive.
Well, we eat prairie oysters.
Well, and that's the thing, bro.
Do you know what those are?
No, I don't.
They're cow balls.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Prairie oysters?
I don't.
I'm sure somebody in Asia would be like, what? You eat what?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'll go take the bat over the balls, please.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised what they eat over there, but
So then me saying that it was kind of I don't believe that. It actually could come from that then, right? Like, it could be, technically it could come from.
This is where you get into a bunch of questions, right? And this is like, I never really wanted to get into the conspiracy stuff of the virus, because at first when I saw it coming down in China, my immediate instinct was like, holy shit, this is gonna come here. Like,
yeah, you sent me an email you sent me a YouTube link, and then I watched the podcast and it scared me.
Well, I went crazy. I think it was around mid-January. and then I like realized when they shut down, it was around the 20th of January, around there, give or take a few days, and they shut down a city with 10 million people, a communist.
Wow.
And in my mind, I thought in my head, like, how bad would something have to be where you would shut down 10 million people?
Yeah.
Like, how bad? What's the scale of what you're dealing with that 10 million people have to stay home? Like,
They
that's,
didn't really make a big deal of that here, did they?
of course, bro. The news doesn't come here at all.
Yeah.
I'm in all these weird chat groups, bro, and I was seeing shit go down like crazy, man. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what the? You know, like I couldn't even believe what was happening there. But then I started to question, and this is, you know, when we get into where did it come from? There's so many angles going on with this. Like, it's almost like there's like 10 million ways you could say where this came from. So it came from a bat, but like, was that just something in animals that came about? When there's all this documentation that you're seeing on the internet right now, it's all over the internet. All the stuff I'm going to talk about, it's all over the internet. So you'll see documentation that there's a Bio 4 or Bio 5 level laboratory, and there's only a handful of those in the world, okay? So you're seeing that they have one of these in Wuhan, and that you're seeing that this coronavirus on the back of chemical cleaner, and you're seeing things that say it's patented by this company and blah, 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 and chemical cleaner ingredients saying like the actual word coronavirus and all this stuff, right? I don't really get into what all that's about, but it's just kind of like you're seeing all this crazy shit.
You're seeing the corona, like it's almost like it's marketing into our brains, subliminal.
Yeah, like how was this? Like
subliminal messages.
Well, was this around before? Was this around before? Was it created in that lab?
Well, no, coronavirus is it's a part of the influenza, like it's a common cold. No, so like this. SARS was a coronavirus, so is MERS, but this is just COVID-19. So it's a
Don't they
coronavirus.
call this SARS COVID-19 or COVID?
Yeah, it's COVID, but like that's why Corona was called Corona, and I think SARS. But I don't know. I don't understand why it was racist. At some point, we're being racist by calling it Corona. I don't know what that.
Well, I don't know about racist, but I definitely.
I heard that a few times, and we got to start calling that.
Dude, if I was that company, I'd be choked, man.
Corona?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I heard
I don't know what the joke or where the premise of that comes from, but.
Well, maybe because it's of like Spanish people or Mexican people, right?
Yeah, but it was found in China, so that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, who knows, bro? Who knows? So, yeah, it's just, I don't really know how it came about, bro. Was it a bioweapon? You hear this stuff even in Winnipeg, like a scientist in Winnipeg and these scientists from the States and this and that. Like, there's just way too many.
Well, that's what I'm wondering about. We can get into that with this. It's like, what if it was man-made? Why do you think it would be started? Like, there's so many reasons, but
that's more of a question that I could answer easily. I wouldn't say easily.
Well, let's just get right into that.
Okay, well, who started it, why they started it, or whatever. I definitely think this is being used for a couple of reasons, and these are very important reasons for you to think about. First is control. Okay, so right now they have pretty much the entire world sitting in their homes. Like I saw a video of Los Angeles and New York, and they're like ghost towns. Even where we live, it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
so
it's all over the world, though. That's the craziest thing is that the entire world is doing this.
Exactly, and you know, the last time we had an event like this to me was 9/11, and
that was small.
Exactly.
What this is.
That affected one city, but it affected everybody emotionally as a whole.
And our transportation system, it changed that as well, right?
Well, and
that also gave us the freedom, the Patriot Act, right? So they had.
But here's the thing, like this shut down flights across the world. Like it's everything.
Everything's shut down.
Do you know that Disneyland, I think, has only closed 3 times in its history, and one time was for, I believe, the '94 Northridge, LA earthquake, which I was in, by the way, in San Bernardino.
In San Fran?
No, I was in San Bernardino. Is that the '94 one? Yeah, it was. San Fran was a different one.
Yeah, that was in the '80s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the Northridge one was, I think, in the '90s there. So I don't know where we were going with this.
all right, this is where we edit and we press rewind. No, we're thinking about where it came from and uh, so your thoughts. So the whole control system.
Yeah.
Keep going. The whole control system. See, we came back, guys. We came
Hey,
back.
I'll look for this in the editing.
No, this is good. Leave it in. People like this stuff. It's good. It's natural.
Uh,
So the control, like the whole control system.
yeah. So basically, yeah, in 9/11, at a small scale, they took away freedoms from us.
Disneyland, you were saying. Why Disneyland closed? Because of the
Oh,
earthquake.
yeah. So Disneyland closed because of the 94 Northridge quake. 9/11
Mhm.
was the other day it closed, and I forget I think JFK's assassination
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah,
was actually the third time that it.
that's insane, and it's been closed for a month now.
Well, buddy, when have you ever seen like sports just disappear?
The only time you see that is when they go on strike, and
Yeah, but not every league.
everything,
Everything. Every league, every sport is done.
Yeah.
Like done.
Everything. Comedy's done. You can't go to. Everything's done. The only thing you can do is go to your grocery store, single file, one at a time. That's all we get to do anymore. I went to the dog park the other day, and it was really freaky. I actually went yesterday, which was Saturday, and it was really nice here.
You don't even remember the days anymore, eh? You're like, what day?
I know, that's the other thing. I've been off work for like 3 weeks. I'm like, is it Sunday? Is it Tuesday? Is it last week I was like, it didn't matter what time of the day it was, crack a beer. It was beer time because I was just like, I have nowhere to go. But no, anyways, I went to the dog park, and which was bizarre was that the social distancing isn't really taking place there. Everybody's in clusters, and 3 people came up to my dog and made an effort to take their glove off and pet my dog. And I'm like, you're putting your germs all over my dog. So that was I wanted to go to the park because I haven't been there, but I'm not going to the park anymore because of that reason.
I think a lot of people definitely have different ways they view this. A lot of people still believe that it's not real, and it is. And you know, when we go back to everything that started, man, like, oh, it just blows my mind, bro. Like, my buddy sent me a video today, and a couple days ago, I looked at a video. Like, the U.S. is going crazy right now. Like, they have 336,000 cases. Okay.
Yeah.
They have that many cases going on.
Isn't that passing China?
Way past China. But no one knows what China's real numbers are. Right? So 336,000 cases. And there's this video of people going to all these hospitals, and there's no one there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's fake news?
I don't know if it's fake news or not, right? That's what I'm wondering, because here's the other thing I was going to go to when you asked how it started. So, and why, or what's the point of it? So first is control. Ultimately, what I feel they want to do, and this is where Bill Gates comes in and his vaccine that he wants to establish. I feel like the vaccine is going to allow you to do stuff in life. So if you want to go to the movies,
it's like a chip, right? You got to have enough credits.
And then
what's the start of it? It's the start of it. I heard that too. It's the start of it. Maybe in 15 years we'll have a chip.
I don't even think it's going to be that long, bro.
Well, and they say that's the mark of the beast, right?
Well, look at it. Look at the drastic things that. Yeah, they do say that, and it's very scary. And then
because it's a real thing right now.
Well, and I was talking to my buddy about it tonight, and I don't want to freak people out, but it's freaky. And
it's really freaky. We're sitting at home, man. The whole world is.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to be doing anything because nobody's on the street to watch them.
Well, you know that there's 2 different situations right now. A lot of people, there's something big that's really going on. As you know who Harvey Weinstein is and Epstein are. These guys are like predators and child porn.
Yeah, what is it? The Hollywood Mafia, they're called.
Yeah, and Hollywood elite and the elites or whatever. And there's been a lot of arrests, and I'm sure these people have rolled over on other people. Mm-hmm. And right now, the right-wing side of politics in the U.S., a lot of them believe in something called Q, which is a group of leaders, I guess, that are part of the military and whatnot, and Trump is with them. This is the storyline, okay? I'm not saying I subscribe to this.
No, I love this story. You told me this, and I think the audience will love it too.
So Q has been around for several years, and the story goes that he was, or that this crew was tired of seeing this other crew. So basically this group of leaders of the world, and then there's this group of leaders of the world.
Yeah.
Okay? In my opinion, both groups don't have our best interests at heart, the people's at heart.
Yeah, it's not
But
good and bad. Like it's
no, it's bad.
what's the lesser of both evils?
Yeah, it's bad and
Yeah.
worse. Do you know what I mean? And right now, Q, they're apparently they're considered the white hats or white
White
hats.
coats.
No, I think they're called white hats, and they're going after all these people that are involved in all this heinous activity. And
Yeah,
we're
like
talking like a lot of movie stars, like Ellen and Oprah and Madonna, and you can actually
and you
like
were seeing that he was telling me about the ankle bracelets that all these people have.
yeah. So if you go to these people's Twitters, like you can go and check out like Ellen's Twitter or Tom Hanks' Twitter, or just on Twitter, go in
Yeah,
there on the hashtag, click at the top, type in like Ellen or Tom Hanks or one of their names.
yeah.
And when you start looking at their posts, there's like massive amounts of people that are like calling them out on this, you know, disgusting stuff that they were doing, right? And horrendous, like,
Do we want to say it?
no, I don't want to even
I want
use
to get
it.
into that. We could do this another time. Yeah,
And I don't think that we should even say that during a podcast because it
yeah.
could just like
Good flag us.
red
Yeah.
flag, I guess, even though we're not like.
You guys go out and make up your own.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'll just leave it at you to go and
But
Google.
there's some creepy shit going on with these celebrities. Is basically what he's getting at. Is that some of them have ankle bracelets, like prison ankle bracelets, like they're not allowed to leave.
Supposedly, right? And
Yeah.
it seems like their social medias have been taken over, and they're using very cryptic messages. Like if you watch these movie stars and singers like Jay-Z and them, and they're always doing
Yeah, they're
the Illuminati, whatever.
yes,
Blah, blah, blah.
yes.
But the stuff that's going on that I'm seeing is these celebrities have some very twisted connections.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Well, that's the whole.
to convicted criminals of heinous crimes, and they have pictures and are hanging out with these people that are convicted horrible criminals. And there's just a lot of tie-ins.
It's like that whole meme before all this happened was right before this happened. It was like the whole thing going around was Epstein didn't kill himself, right? And everybody was trying to one up each other.
Let me just give you a quick example of this. He's like the most wanted criminal, highest profile criminal that you could ever find for the States. Like he has the most information on so many.
That's Epstein.
Yes, has so much information on top, all sorts of people. Where he's had hidden cameras in his house, tying to all sorts of politicians and all this. If they were to catch this guy with the amount of information they know, it would have made sense for them to have like 10 or 20 guards sitting there full time. This guy's worth billions and billions of dollars in information. Yeah. Billions, like tens of billions in info.
Yeah.
Stuff about everybody all over. How is this guy being left alone to do all this stuff and these cameras breaking? And to me, that's the first sign.
It's a huge conspiracy, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
that started right before Wuhan, right before this whole outbreak.
Yeah.
This is leading up to this.
And that's why sometimes I wonder, like, when you ask what happens, when I say that there could be two groups in power. And, I try to take my emotions out of this. And if I controlled the world and I was looking at a couple of factors from a mathematical basis,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The population control would be beneficial for them if they felt like there's too many people on the planet using the resources up for humans to sustain life for another 200, 300, 500 years. Yeah. So if they created this virus that killed off a lot of the weak, just like you have, if you look in primitive, like a herd of animals in the wild, the weak ones usually get let go because the strong ones.
It's natural selection, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're too overpopulated as it is. So
exactly, and it's a hard thing to talk about or say or even think about. But everybody's out for greed, and no one's even working to try and make anything sustainable here. All of us, guilty included. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we all on our own, right?
We're all users. We're all consumers. Do you know what I mean? Like, very few people on this planet are actually giving back to the planet as much as they're consuming. So, we're just lucky because we live in the West and we have easier access to consume. Do you get what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying.
So,
the power of leads.
Pardon me?
The two powers.
Yeah. So if they were doing this and they started this virus, this Q side of things, right? They could be doing this to obviously the population control, maybe in their interest. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because then they have less people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
A giant reset because of the financial system and we'll go into this in another show, but just briefly, we live in a debt-based financial system. That's the way our system works. It works on consumption and it works on debt. Okay, and it gets to a point where it's going to get too big, and yeah, exactly, and it's going to crash. And I think that's what's happening right now, and it's going to be as bad as it was 100 years ago.
And do you think it's strategic then that they're like they plan this virus to do
Well,
not just one thing but a number of things?
Well, yes, because the other things that they can do, and these are kind of, I guess, good things. Well, obviously they are. Is if they have everybody controlled in their home, they have air travel shut down across the board. They're going to be it's going to be very easy for them to track people and capture them because there's going to be no one moving around.
You were mentioning something like this today that Trump said he was coming after the cartel. So that brings right into that.
Well, of course. So if they're going after all these, well, that's even part of this stuff. There's a big underground tunnel base. You can look it up online called the DUMBS, DUMBS.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you look it up online, it's a group of connected tunnels, and they're having all these mid earthquakes. And you can look up online, and the U.S. has been training people for war in tunnels. Like there's all this, there's all this crazy stuff going on.
You guys, this is what Confused and Informed is going to get like. It's just going to get, it's crazy. It's going to be so much fun. Like it's a wealth of knowledge, which is
it's a rabbit hole, bro. It's a rabbit hole of stuff. Like I said, I definitely don't have the answers. But like when I see this stuff, and like if you Google DUMBS, DUMBS, and type in underground bases, do you know what I mean? Like you'll start leading yourself down a path.
I've never heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
But isn't that how they was it the cartels and El Capo and that? Isn't that how they got out of, like, that's how they smuggle drugs into the States, is through tunnels? And isn't that how El Capo got out? El Chapo, whatever his name is. Yeah.
I think he was one of the first in the Netflix series, which is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Google checked it through while watching it.
He got out with a tunnel, right? So I mean, it makes
sense.
He
was the originator for the cartels to make a tunnel, and he made one from Mexico going to the U.S. side. So that's how they were bringing this
that's so
over.
Smart.
But that's the thing, like with this child trafficking, horrible stuff going on, they're saying that these cartels were helping bring these through to the elite through a system of underground tunnels. Yeah,
so that's why they're shutting down. They're taking out everybody.
Well, right before the blackout happened, you can Google this as well. Type in 350 cartel members arrested. And right at the beginning of March, you'll see that they arrested.
That's the same thing, too, as all those CEOs that quit.
Yeah.
They all stepped down the same day. It was like Bill Gates stepped down and everybody else stepped down.
Yeah, it was a lot of...
That's kind of weird. There's a lot of coincidences. And that's what every conspiracy debunker will say. Oh, it's just a coincidence. It's like, really? Everybody quit today?
Yeah.
and they've all got a stockpile of shit. They're out the door. It's just a coincidence. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Everyone retired and left shop when the world...
Everybody put your head between your legs and get under the desk. Don't worry about the bomb. It's all going to be fine. But everybody that's important is out of here. So yeah, that's 350 cartel members taken down.
Yeah, this was before that all happened. So from the word that I'm getting is that they did this big operation to. So basically, what these child trafficking elites, I guess that's what we'll say.
Yeah.
They're doing really bad things to children, and this goes deep. Like I said, like the people accused, actors that we know, like Ellen and Oprah and Tom Hanks. Yeah.
And you know what the funny thing is? This comes back to
just type in on the Google, if you don't believe me, just type in any of their names and write down like pedo or something right beside their name, and you'll be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, people, this is interesting because I just watched a documentary recently, and it was talking all about this, all these elites, all these actors and everything that are in this child syndicate ring. And one of the actors that wasn't in it and was very outspoken about it was Mel Gibson. And everybody remembers Mel Gibson was, he was everybody's hero. And then he just, the elite just cut him down because he was
also did some, yeah, he didn't, I guess he didn't join the club. He wasn't down.
Yeah, and his career was basically taken away from him.
But
he was at the top of his game, and then...
You know what, though? He also did some messed up stuff, too. He was
pretty racist, yeah.
He did some racist stuff, and then he was also, like, I thought he was abusive to his wife or some chick.
Yeah, so I don't know. This is all kind of speculation, but it is kind of interesting, because that documentary says that. They make him look like a hero, so...
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, when you go on drunk tirades like that.
Yeah.
You know, you say the wrong
couple.
thing. You
Yeah.
know, nowadays they can
What was that documentary called? That was the Fall of the Cabal or something?
Fall of Cabal.
Fall of Cabal.
Cabal.
I definitely would recommend that one to people because it's a good 3-hour watch if you got nothing to do.
Well,
You
yeah.
want to go down a rabbit hole. The end is a little wonky, but it's
I agree. I
kind
agree.
of superhero-y-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? We never talked about that, but I'm glad you said that because
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. Up to episode 8 or 9, I don't remember now, but I think it was around.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this makes a lot of sense. And then it came in like, here we are to save the day.
Yeah, it's like it was paid for the documentary.
Yeah, I was just kind of like,
It's a
man.
total American movie. Like America's
Yeah.
gonna go stop the asteroid. Come
But
on.
you know what? It's the same thing when I see Trump on the stage there, and I get it. He's just trying to like keep hope around for people, but yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Bleak, man. The states are pretty bleak right now.
I wonder if I can find that video. Let me see. Keep talking, bro. I'm gonna try and find this video and see if I can screen share it.
Yeah. So the other thing I was interested in, I heard I was listening to a podcast, and this guy was actually interviewing a gentleman that lives in Hong Kong or right around Hong Kong, and that's where the protests were going on, right?
I have two really good friends that live in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Two.
And this guy was saying that he's like he seemed like it was a little far-fetched that they would release this biohazard virus that some people think that it is. It's not just a man-made or a natural virus. But Wuhan to in relation to Hong Kong is like an extreme distance, is it not?
Well, it's mainland versus an island, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of to try to stop protests with a virus that's so far away and hard to get to is kind of
I don't
doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I don't
I don't really buy it, right? Like it's
No, it's bro. There's so many.
protest down.
There's so many reasons that this could be.
There's so many conspiracy
I
theories.
found this. Let me
Screenshot.
screen share this with you,
All right.
and then
Isn't this amazing that we can be sitting here in our living rooms entertaining people?
I
And
just
I don't
really
have
like
my pants on.
I really like the technology that we got going on.
I know. I think this is going to be good in some ways for like.
Hey, hold on. Can you hear the music?
Yep.
I'm gonna speed this up so we don't have to watch the whole
Yeah, I
thing.
know, but other people are listening, so maybe turn the volume down. But
Okay, the blah blah blah. This guy's.
we're just watching a YouTube video.
This is what they're saying in the States. They're saying that that there's no one sick in these beds.
So yeah.
So this is the date from March 22nd to 25th. And if you remember from the China dates, they had, oh, sorry, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, they had the hospitals were all packed and there was people outside. So this video is showing, like, look, man.
But there is a lot of people outside, isn't there?
There was there on that one, but let's look at some more. There's no one at this hospital.
So it's almost like it's false news that
Look,
they're
and it
trying
says
to
right
escape on
here, the dates and the hospital. These are all from YouTube, right?
Turned into war zones. Well, I want to give you an idea of what that war zone looks like here in downtown Brooklyn. So this is my neighborhood. This is the Brooklyn Hospital Center. And again, you're hearing one thing on the mainstream media, and this is what it's like in reality. This is where people normally stand up to get testing for the coronavirus.
Turn it off the fast, man, so people can hear it.
What's that?
Turn it off the fast so people can hear it.
Okay, hold on.
You gotta remember that people are
Sorry, I listen to everything in 1.5 to 2 speed.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
No patience. Nobody's rushing anywhere.
Wow, this is insane. You guys gotta YouTube this.
Waiting.
Is this crisis really happening? Like, is this really an
Well,
epicenter?
that's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to narrate for the listeners, right? So if they're not watching. But this doesn't, it seems like they're actually making it out. There's only like 15 people outside. That's like a lineup to a bar.
Well, this is 13 minutes of video, and it's just showing a bunch of different hospitals. Like, look at this, urgent care in Hawaii. No one, like, who knows?
It almost seems like it's not as bad as it actually is.
Look, these are actual testing centers that were built that are empty, bro.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is video though for people that might not be watching. But this is insane though. I definitely recommend the listeners to go check just YouTube. Like,
Look at this chick,
real people.
bro. Look at this.
Verifying.
She's straight up lied. Let me watch this one.
Doesn't want
Watch
me to
this.
document. They're lying on the news about being overwhelmed with lines and testing all these people. They're taking state money, and they're not testing anyone. They're taking our money. Look at that line, officer. Do you see that line? So these are the overwhelming lines that you guys have been lying to the people of Hawaii about. I'm a journalist, and this is going to be a column that's going to be read nationally.
Look at this.
About how you're lying, that there are massive lines that you're doing.
We were overwhelmed yesterday with the response.
You tested 25 people here yesterday? You said that. You didn't test 25 people. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I had nobody going in.
Whoa.
The CEO of Urgent Care? Wow, you must be upset.
All right, yeah, let's get back to talking. This is we'll just get people to watch this because this is bad for audio and that. But it's what we're basically watching. If you're not watching us on YouTube, is that we were just watching a hospital, an urgent care center, where the day before they were saying that there was massive lines for people to show up. But what we were just watching was an empty shopping mall. It looked like there was nobody there.
No,
Like
it
it
wasn't a
wasn't a
shopping
hospital.
mall. Those were empty hospitals.
I know, but that's what it looked like. It didn't look like a busy hospital. It looked like
Yeah, none of them
so
were busy.
it's just that. So these are things that people that should that are sitting around and just believe the mainstream media. You're sitting at home, do some research, go on YouTube and check that stuff out because maybe this isn't as bad as what they're saying it is. They're just having us stay inside because they have an ulterior motive, right? Like there could be other things behind it.
I'm seriously scared of the virus, though. Like, I don't actually. Me and you have a mutual friend that
I
actually
do have a
had
friend
the
that actually
virus.
has it.